to the Dryden Memorial Arena, the Wagon chain of lakes. I'm Mike Eveling, joined alongside by Joe Barron this year. Joe.
Hello, Mike.
Welcome on board, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And we're expecting 2 days of great fishing. What can we expect these next 2 days?
Well, I think we're going to get some big fish coming in here. The weather's settled down. We got a little bit of a cold front move in. It's kind of got itself situated over us. And I think we're looking forward to a great weekend.
Well, you're no stranger to this area and the fishing that's available here. You talked about the weather, a little bit overcast throughout the day, especially this morning. Sun has peaked out tonight. With these type of conditions, colder conditions, what does that do for the fishing?
Well, the cold front moved in a few days ago, so the fish have been able to climatize, and I think that's the big thing. They get in a pattern now. They're used to the colder weather, and they should be able to be caught today and tomorrow. There's no doubt. I think if a big storm comes through, thunder, lightning, that could affect things a little bit. But other than that, I think they're going to have a great weekend of walleye fishing here in Dryden.
And the weather is supposed to be pretty much the same the next 2 days. And Joe talked about some big fish. We'll talk about that in just a bit because already we have seen some big fish caught. But right now, let's throw it over to Jenna Scummison, who is right by the water.
Thanks, Mike. Well, I have the best spot of the tournament. I get to see all the fishermen as they come in off of the lake. Throughout the show, I will be talking to them to see how their day went. But first, let's take a look at what happened very early this morning when all the boats left the dock.
Welcome back to the Dryden Memorial Arena. Outside here for the 2015 Dryden Walleye Masters, seeing some beautiful catches so far. And speaking of a beauty, early on, Eric Williams and Peter Erickson, who came in very, very early today.
Really early.
With a 10.41 pound fish.
Wow.
One fish weighed 10.41. You compare that with the total weights or the big fish from last year on day number one at 9.94. That was Ryan Spruill and Roger Stearns. So a big increase from last year, day number one. The big fish from last year was Rhea Campbell and Angie Fadouk with an 11.3 at 1 pounder. So 10.41 for Eric Williams and Peter Erickson. Pretty good, Joe.
Very good. And you put another one of those in that basket the next couple days, and that team will definitely be one that to count on.
I was here about 12:30, and that fish had already been weighed in, and that was a big part of it. And Brad Smith and Renee Belleau with 5 fish caught. They came in very early at 18.21. So that's the early pace right now, 18.21.
And Brad Smith is an angler. So if he comes in early with 18 pounds, he's had a great day. And the rest of the anglers are going to be shooting for that. There's no doubt in my mind. That could hold up very well today.
Of course, Jay Samso, Scott Dingwall, the winners from last year and this year, $25 cash and prizes up for grabs.
$25,000.
You betcha. And of course with Evan Root, a great boat there. So lots to fish for today. Not only pride and glory and bragging rights, but 25 grand, not too shabby.
That's not too shabby at all. They've got a beautiful boat package prize inside Alumacraft, and they're certainly got the prize money back again this year. The committee's been doing a great job putting it all together, and there's going to be something for at least the top 30 35 teams out there. So
you bet 30. Even if you come in at 30, if you get $350, so not too bad for that. And you talked about the great work by the organizing committee. Later on today, we will talk to John Butts, who is one of the big organizers of this year's event, an event that, Joe, you've hosted the past couple of years.
Yeah, we've been involved in it now for about the last 15 or 20 years. I originally started with John and Susan Butts a number of years ago. And it switched over from there, and the Dryden Chamber of Commerce took it over. And then for some reason, fishing tournaments kind of went down a little bit. And this was one of them as well. People change and all that, their interests changed. So we got back involved in it, and we've put it back together again. The committee took over, and it was a lot of hard work, but we got it. And now John and his committee took over from me from last year, and they've done a terrific job. They got a terrific committee, and they deserve a lot of recognition for this year's event.
And we'll talk a little more later on about just the work that does go on behind the scenes, because it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Just have a look around here, and get down to the arena here, folks, today and tomorrow, if you want to see just how much work goes into this tournament, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be free. You don't have to pay a cent to come into this arena to watch this event, so it's going to be fun.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see a packed house here at the Dryden Memorial Arena to see the winners of the 2015 Dryden Walleye Masters, a proud tradition here, Wabagoon Chain of Lakes. And let's go back in the past and take a look at some previous winners.
Boat number 4, Jason Rostek and Philip Scrivulo. This is Jason Rostek, 2011 Walleye Masters champion. He has 8 top 10 finishes.
We were in second place leaving in the morning. The fishing was a lot slower the second day than the first. I mean, we didn't get a big over like the first day to put us up there, so we were a little bit nervous the second day.
What do you think, boys? Pretty close. I think you're right. It's going to be real close. They need 12.06 to take the Meadows off the stage.
We just didn't think we had the weight until actually our turn up on the stage. We thought we'd probably maintain second or third place. We weren't sure we'd win, but we knew we'd be in the top 3.
You guys need 12.05. Looks like you got that and a little bit more. 13.08.
When our fish went on the scale, like right away we could tell that we had won. Like we didn't even have to do the math anymore. It was just, we could see it bounce higher than theirs right away. So yeah, we were pretty certain we had came in second at least. To win twice, it was just overwhelming for me, and Philip was pretty excited. Like he came on board with me the year before, and I think we came in 6th that year, and then to win it the second year he was in it, and that's the second time he's ever fished the tournament. So I mean, he was pretty excited.
And there you go, Jason Rostek and Andy Scribilo, the past winners a few years ago, and Jason Rostek, excellent angler in his own right.
Jason's a terrific angler, and that team, expect big things from them. I think you're going to be impressed this year. They did a little bit of work out there, and hopefully it'll pay off this weekend. As of all the teams, you're going to see a lot of teams come in here early in the week. They spend a week out there, 4 days, 3 days, pre-fishing this lake, and they try to find the fish, know where those fish are, and get into a spot where they can grab a few of them early in the day and then move on from there.
How big is it to pre-fish?
How big a lake, or how big
a big thing as part of success?
Oh, big thing for sure, Mike. It's like any other sport. You really got to practice, and that's what we call it. Practicing, pre-fishing, getting out there, knowing what the fish are eating, what kind of presentation do you want to make, how fast are the fish moving after a certain type of bait. These guys and girls are going to put a lot of time into it on the lake this past 4 or 5 days, and I'm sure it's going to pay off for somebody in a big way.
And there you see a few fish there as the teams are starting to roll in. As I mentioned, the Brad Smith team came in very early before 12:30 with their 5 fish at 18.21 pounds. They are so far the leaders here at the 3 o'clock mark. Are you surprised that they cashed in that early?
I'm a little surprised. I'm not sure I would have done that. But again, when you think about it, Mike, if they've caught the fish that they think they need to win day one, why go out and put hooks in fish that they might need to catch tomorrow? And I think that's maybe what Brad was thinking and that Smith team was thinking when they came in and said, hey, we've got great weight with 18 pounds. Let's take it in. Let's leave our fish not touched for tomorrow because they need another big weight tomorrow as well.
Yeah, 18.21. That's a good day one weight.
Probably one of the best over the past few years. There's no doubt. It's going to be there for sure. And that team, keep an eye on them.
Lloyd Gillis and Angie Frickland last year on day number 1 came in with 18.58 pounds. So it's right there, like you mentioned, Joe, one of the top weights that we have seen. And they ended up finishing that tournament in 3rd place, only 3.29. So
it was really tight. And I know Lloyd and Angie very well. And they were disappointed that they couldn't keep it together. But that's fishing. And there's people say it's all, the way you do it and all of that stuff, but there's a lot of luck involved in it as well. So
Brad and Renee pretty much in good shape to come home with some money at 18.21.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen
you
in
had
this
that little
tournament.
Stare there.
Oh, I don't want to jinx them in any way, but they're a pair of good anglers, and it's going to be interesting to see how they hold on.
There you see. Sorry.
And see how this weather holds on as well.
That's the big part. There you see the boats coming in. It's weigh-in time here, Wabagoon Chain of Lakes. You're watching the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing.
Of Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC vehicles and 12 service bays to keep you on the road. Dryden GM is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. Online at drydengm.ca.
QSL Tackle is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. QSL Tackle at 102 Queen Street in Dryden and online at qsltackle.ca.
Remmer Roofing, Northwestern Ontario's only full-time professional local roofing company with offices in Kenora and Dryden, is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters. Online at remmerroofing.com.
Dryden Discount Carpet offers flooring solutions for every kind of home or business with carpeting, hardwood, and more. Dryden Discount Carpet is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming.
Mike Ebling and Joe Barron back at the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing. A big thank you to our sponsors. And there you see some of the big fish that have come in so far via tweet, Shaw TV, Thunder Bay. And you'll see the hashtag Dryden Walleye Masters. And there's that big 18-pounder that was brought in 9:30. And of course, you can send in your photos, hooked on Shaw at shaw.ca. That's what we want to see. And again, also put it on Twitter, hashtag hooked on Shaw, as a lot of folks from out of town have come in. And there you see Peter Erickson from Portage La Prairie. Him and Eric Williams caught that 10.41 pounder. And so a little Manitoba flavor to this tournament, and what a tournament so far. We've only 1 fish caught so far, but they went back on the lake.
We've got some great anglers in here from out of town. There's no doubt about it. A lot of anglers from the Manitoba province, Southern Ontario. We've got a number of boats and teams in from the United States. This tournament in Dryden is really taking off as a huge event, and this city should be very proud of it, that's for sure.
No more taking off. Teams are coming back in, and that last reflection picture you saw was part of the Canadian Tire Bob Azumi Kids Cops Canadian Tire Tournament, and that is a neat part of this weekend, getting the kids involved.
Oh, the kids. We've had so much fun since Canadian Tire and the police have got involved in this. They've really stepped up to the plate, and they put a great show on for the kids down at Government Dock. The kids have a ball, get some great prizes from Canadian Tire, and it's just a great event. And then they'll finish it up tomorrow in the arena, in the boat parade. The kids, the top 4 or 5 kids in the tournament today will get to ride in with the anglers, the top 10 in that boat parade, and those kids just have a ball.
And that was held earlier today at the Government Dock, which is just down the road here in the city of Dryden, a very popular fishing destination. And the kids just love it. And the beautiful thing about that tournament, Joe, it's free.
It doesn't cost a cent, you know, and the kids put their names in, the parents drop the names off, and the police services, the Dryden Police, the RCMP, the OPP, Treaty 3 Police are all involved in it. They get the prizes donated from Canadian Tire, and there's some pretty special prizes there for sure.
No doubt. And Kevin Hildebrand and Aaron Hucko, the organizers of that tournament, and hats off to them because they do such a good job with that. And it was pretty much another full field. And
well, it gets the community involved.
Yeah.
You know, it gets the kids. It's not just a big Walleye Masters tournament. And the kids have a lot of fun with it. And then they'll come down here, and the parents will come down tomorrow. The grandparents will come down and watch the big show, watch their kids come into the tent. Or into the arena, I should say.
Yeah, you bet. And we encourage you to come down to the Dryden Memorial Arena, grab a seat, enjoy the weigh-ins as the first flight has come in, and make lots of noise. How Peranto on the mic there. He will appreciate you coming down. And Joe, let's go back to that Canadian Tire Kids Cops. How important is it to get the kids involved?
We talked about this about 4 years ago, that the Walleye Masters didn't really have a youth component attached to it. There were a number of youth tournaments going on in Dryden, but nothing really connected to the Walleye Masters. And then the Babazumi Corporation contacted us, and the Kids Cops Canadian Tire developed from that. And it just gets, I think there was about 60, 65 kids there this year. And I know we've had up to 100 kids down there on that dock. I think the first year they had so many kids come out that they had to go get more prizes. I'm sure that's what happened, but it's a great event, and it's fun for the kids. And they're the future anglers. You know, they're the ones that are going to be in these boats in 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, the future champions, hopefully. And
future champions.
Everybody out, 135 teams trying to unseat Jay Sampson and Scott Dingwall, last year's champions, with 33.41 pounds of fish. And for a 2-day total, Joe, that's pretty good. That's a
good weight. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be interesting to see how that Dingwall team does this year. I'm looking forward to seeing their weight for sure.
And Jeff Dingwall and Blair Dingwall came in at number 2 last year, only 2.09 pounds. It definitely was an exciting finish. As I mentioned, Lloyd Gillis and Angie Fricklin were number 3, Ken Gardner and Rick Tanner number 4, and number 5 was Kurt West and Travis Turand. So that rounds out the top 5 from last year. Shortly we'll get you so far the leaders of this tournament, but if you are just joining us again, it was Brad Smith and Rene Belleau coming in earlier today at 18.21 pounds of fish. They are your very early leaders, but again, the first flight just coming through, and we expect to see some jockeying on top of the standings here as some of the big names come in. And Joe, you like you said, there's a lot of the out-of-town teams, but there's some big names locally here that can make a splash.
Oh, there's some big names in here in this town for sure. I mean, we're going to be seeing a few of them today. I mean, John and Lauren Butts are out there. They're going to do well. My daughter and son-in-law, Lonnie and Chrissa Lundmark, they've past winners as well. Jason Rostick and his partner are in it as well. So there's some big names out there, and I know a few other tournament fishermen that have come in that haven't been here this year, or haven't been here before, and have come here to challenge this lake and see how they can make out.
What kind of odds will you put a team that hasn't been on this lake before?
It's tough, Mike. There's no doubt that it's a tough fishery. There's a number of hazards out there that these anglers have to be aware of. And that's another important part of getting out there and pre-fishing and knowing where those rocks and logs and everything are. But anybody can win it. I heard one of the relatively new anglers was out in the east end of the system, down in the Denarwick area, and I heard there was a 10-pounder brought in yesterday in a boat. So we'll see if that 10-pounder is still around there.
Let's hope it is out there still, because that would be a beautiful catch for someone. Of course, we already have seen that 10.41 brought in by Peter Erickson and Eric Williams. That was very early. As the weigh-ins continue, a little peek at the fish will be thrown right back into the Wabagoon Lake.
That's something to mention too, Mike. It's a catch and release tournament, so these fish are being looked after. They leave the stage, they go into a holding tank, they're trucked back to the lake and put back in the water within half an hour of crossing that stage, roughly. And that's important. Get them back out. The nice part about this is the water's cool, the air temperature's cool, so we shouldn't have a lot of problem with stressed fish.
What is a stressed fish?
A stressed fish is a fish that may or may not be revived. If we have a biologist that checks the boats down there, and if that biologist determines that that fish will not recover, then it's deemed stress and a penalty is awarded for that. A dead fish, you get half of the weight for that fish. And the reason they give half the weight for the dead fish is so that people just don't throw them away. And I think that's important. But a stressed fish is a fish that cannot be released safely. And we watch them and make sure the guys are looking after them, keep a good eye on them. They'll hold them, they'll work them a little bit and see if we can get them going again.
Conservation officers and the MNR on hand as always, making sure that there is no problems with the fish, and it's a great conservation tool that we have in place for this tournament.
Absolutely.
You talked about the colder water this year. It was a very late start to the fishing season last year. Pretty much this tournament kind of kicked off the fishing season last year. This year we got an earlier start. Does that really change things?
Oh, it's going to change it in a big way. I mean, the ice came off earlier this year. The weather actually warmed up quite nicely, and it gave the fish a chance to get into their spawning areas, do their thing, lay their eggs, get out of that area and start moving back into the main lake system. And I think that's important for these fish to get out of those spawning areas and start eating again, because it takes a lot out of them. And we've had years where fish are still in the spawning areas, and they do get stressed and they do have trouble. But this year they should be fine. We don't think there'll be a problem with that at all.
No stress here between Joe and I and our Shaw crew, as we have a great crew on board this year. A number of features you'll see the next 2 days here about angling and about the city of Dryden. And right now we take a look at the Slow Death Walleye Rig.
What we're going to show you tonight is a technique that we used last year and we use quite often to catch some nice fish in the tournament. And the name of the rig is Slow Death. It's pretty simple, but there's some small tricks that we use, and we're going to show you a little bit about that this evening. So we'll see if we can get this fish in the boat here. The wind's kind of nasty. There he is. That's a decent one.
Nice fish, Scotty.
Yeah, thanks.
Wind is blowing. We're going to show you what made us successful in 2014. I'm going to show you our setup when we're fishing the Slow Death rig. Start off with the reel, always using a bait caster reel. The reason for it is it's real easy to control your depth. Simply push the button, you can let line out, click it over, reel up, adjust according to the depth you're fishing. Rods we're using typically 6'10" to 7-foot rods, something with a real nice soft tip so that when you get that bite you can slowly pull back, set the hook, but you don't want to rip these lighter hooks out of the fish's mouth. So light tips, light rods. Typically we do run braid, 10-pound braid, 12-pound braid, and then from there our braid is attached to a bottom bouncer. And bottom bouncer size is totally dependent on the depth you're fishing. So Typically we're using a 1 ounce bottom bouncer. The deeper you go, or the more current you're fishing, heavier your weight's going to be. From there, just a simple crane swivel tied to that, a 2 to 3 foot long piece of monofilament. Reason we use monofilament, it floats, helps keep that bait up off the bottom, and then from there we tie on our slow death hook. And Scotty is going to tell you what's so important about this hook.
So what I've got is the slow death hook here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but it has a really unique shape to it, and that's what makes this rig very deadly. So what it does is you'll hook your worm on, and I'm going to show you how I rig mine up here. Pretty straightforward, just thread the crawler on the hook, and I pull it up good ways past the collar. And what I always do, I tie a Palomar knot and I leave a tag end on there. And I think that really helps to keep the crawler secured on the rig. So I thread it through and pull it up past that knot. And what you want to do is cut it off maybe 2 or 3 inches back of that hook. So what you get is a really nice turning action in the water. It's not, an overly aggressive action, it's just a subtle spin.
Well, there you go. Some tips on the slow depth, the walleye rig, and good tips for these anglers out there today.
Very good. Yep, very good.
All right, we are back here at the Dryden Memorial Arena. We have a special guest with us, and Janice, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. I'm here with Brendan Cam. Now, you had a pretty good day today.
We had a wonderful day today. Bite was awesome till about noon for us. It shut down in the afternoon, but we bagged them when we had the chance this morning. So
what was your final weight?
14.10. So we should be up there after today, I would think. So
you're from Dryden. So do you think knowing Wagon Lake gives you an advantage?
Absolutely. I've been in this boat for 5-6 years now, but my partner's been here for 20. 20 plus, and he's won this before, so he's my GPS out there. I follow him, and he puts me on him, and we catch him.
Are you going to do anything different tomorrow to bring in that weight or more?
Not a thing. They'll do the exact same thing tomorrow.
Okay, well, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Mike and Joe.
Well, you know what? I think even if they were going to change, they're not going to tip their hand.
They're not going to tip anything. Brandon's been around this area for a long time. He knows how to fish. And the other big teams just coming in, Jay Samsel and Scott Dingwall's team is just bringing their fish into the bump tank. Now the bump tank, what that's all about, and Mr. Keith Keller is our bump man there this weekend. He checks the fish for length. They're allowed to have two fish over 18 inches and 3 under 18. And it's Keith's job to make sure that those fish are legal, and it's a good way to keep control of people that might try to slip one through, but they can't.
5 is your limit, and even if you try to slip one through, most of the leaders will be subject to a lie detector anyway.
Yes, this tournament has had to go to a lie detector test, unfortunately. There was a number of people that we felt weren't following the rules, and the only way to control it, unless you put another person in the boat with them, is a lie detector test. And we started that 3 or 4 years ago. That just keeps everybody honest, and it makes it fun and fair for everyone. If you can imagine how much money these people are spending to fish this tournament, and then to have somebody break the rules to beat them, it's just not fair.
Yes, and it's not something you really want in place, but like you mentioned, it is something that is needed.
It is absolutely needed. Absolutely. And it works. I mean, it's a legal lie detector test that we use, and if it's ever challenged in court, it's done by a professional.
There you see the defending champions weigh in. Some pretty good looking sized fish there.
Going to be interesting to see their weight.
Of course, the leader right now at 18.21. That's the Brad Smith team. But keep in mind, that was only with one fish. They went back on the water and still have yet to weigh in. So they're right now the early favorites in this tournament. But there's one of the big teams, Jay Samso and Scott Dingwall, who cashed in last year with 33.41 pounds of fish, thanks to a great second day, 17.51.
Yeah, they nailed it last year. There's no doubt about it. and their fish went, and that's what it's all about. Oh, look at those. Oh, there's a nice basket of fish.
Yeah, beauty there.
Nice.
That'll be up there with some of the leaders. Again, unofficially, the top three, Brad Smith and Renee below at 18.21 pounds. Darren Kennedy and Jeremy Kennedy, a nice day, 14.24.
Wow,
the
good.
father and son team there.
Yeah.
And Kurt West and Travis Turant, who were up there last year, finishing 5th. They're right now in unofficially 3rd place. But of course, we saw a Samso come in at 14.10. So obviously, those are not your up-to-date.
Yeah, those will all change, and we're just going by the live leaderboard as we get it. And there's a bit of a time lapse there from when Chris can get it up on the board and make the changes. It's quite a process up there on the stage to make sure it works all right.
So many sponsors here with the Shaw Cable to make this event a reality here, and the reason why we're here bringing you this great coverage here for the next 2 days. We want to say a special thank you to Dingwall Ford, Remmer Roofing, the Best Western here in Dryden, Dryden GM, and Dryden Discounts Carpets. So a big thank you to them, our sponsors here for the Shaw Cable broadcast. Mike Ebling and Joe Barron with you this year. We'll be here with you tomorrow as well for the big final boat parade when the top teams come in, and that's when the fun starts.
Oh, that's when the fun starts for sure. And if you don't get down to the arena tomorrow, you're really going to miss out on something, because it's going to be exciting, and I guarantee you'll have a great afternoon sitting down here. I think they're about 3 o'clock they'll start bringing the boats in and that. And then the boat parade will start after that. So keep an eye on the radio, TV, and get down here. It's going to be a great day. Now, weather is beautiful, and let's hope it stays like this, because this helps the anglers a lot. A little bit of breeze out there is perfect, because it gets that Wabigoon Lake churned up a little bit, and those walleyes just love the wind.
And we'll talk about the Wabigoon chain of lakes here in just a bit, because there's a lot of territory to cover as you're looking for the big fish, and that's what we're looking for here the next 2 days. You're watching the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing.
With a wide variety of Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC vehicles and 12 service bays to keep you on the road, Dryden GM is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. Online at drydengm.ca.
QSL Tackle is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. QSL Tackle at 102 Queen Street in Dryden and online at qsltackle.ca.
Remmer Roofing, Northwestern Ontario's only full-time professional local roofing company with offices in Kenora and Dryden, is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters. Online at remmerroofing.com.
Dryden Discount Carpet offers flooring solutions for every kind of home or business with carpeting, hardwood, and more. Dryden Discount Carpet is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming.
And welcome back to the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing. Beautiful fish there, as so many hitting the water to catch the big one. Beautiful family shot there. There's a shot inside the arena, and we encourage you to send us your photos. All you have to do is fire them off on email, hookedonshaw@shaw.ca. There you see it at the bottom. Also, throw it on the Twitter page at #HookedOnShaw. Also, you can go onto Facebook, as well, social media has pretty much taken over our lives, Joe.
Social media sure has. And I noticed the young lady that was holding one of those first fish, and I think her last name is Butts, so look out. There might be a big fish or two coming in.
No buts about it. John Butts is probably one of the favorites in this tournament. He is one of the best in Northwestern Ontario, as again the boats are coming in. The deadline has passed. Teams must now be coming in, and doing their weigh-ins. And update on the top 5 so far: Brad Spiff and Renee Below, first place at 18.21 pounds. Again, note that's only one fish. Jeff Park and Matt Park have come in. They are second place at 14.43 pounds. Darren Kennedy and Jeremy Kennedy bounced to third. Brandon Cam and Cliff Sutherland. You heard from Brandon earlier, with Janice at fourth with 14.19. And Brad Weberg and Kevin Zachary coming in fifth place so far with 13.66 pounds. It is pretty much crowded at the top of the leaderboard. We've seen some great weights so far. Beautiful weights. I mean, huge weights. For one day of fishing, 13, 14 pounds, 5 fish, and that big 18-pound bag and the weighed in earlier this morning. Like I say, it's going to be interesting. And the other thing, too, with the Parks team, that's a father and son team. And they've been, this is the second year that they fished this tournament together. And I see Lauren Butts coming in now, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens here. Yeah, I want to correct myself. I was saying that Brad and Renee had only one fish at 18, but it's actually a full bag of 5 fish. Full bag of 5 fish, I apologize about that. The big fish was 10.41 by Eric Williams and Peter Erickson. They had the one fish and then went back on a lake. So the pace set at 18.21 with 5 pounds of fish. Before we went to break, we were talking about the Wabigoon chain of lakes and just how dynamic it is. Talk about that lake, Joe. Well, it's a big lake, and the disadvantage with fishing the lake at times is because they don't have the markers out there anymore, and that scares some people. But there is a map out there that identifies the hazards that are out there where the rocks are, and if people get a copy of that and they're readily available, then it identifies all of them. But this lake runs from all the way down the west arm down here behind us, all the way down into Norwick, back into Rock Lake, Lost Lake back there. There's 9 lakes connected to this chain. Mile, Trap, there's this what they call the Sweet Lakes, Butler Lake. It's a big area. There's a lot of room to fish, and all of them, I would be surprised that all of those areas will be carrying big fish this weekend. Has there been kind of a hot spot so far? I wouldn't say a hot spot yet. I've heard there's been some big fish caught down in the Norwick end of the lake, which is the east end of the lake. And that would include Turtle Pond and those areas down there. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting when we talk to these guys tomorrow, just to see where they were fishing and how they made out in those specific areas. And we encourage you to come to the Dryden area and take advantage of the great fishing opportunities, because again, it's just such a beautiful lake. Oh, it's a beautiful area to fish. The country is just spectacular. The people in Dryden, I'll tell you, you couldn't ask for friendlier people. Get out here and enjoy this system that we have here. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. And get down to the Dryden Memorial Arena today and tomorrow. Take part in the festivities. Again, beverages and food here, and you can check out the weigh-ins as we continue to keep an eye on the teams that are weighing in here as the first flight continues to try to catch the top at 18.21 pounds right now. Going back to the lake, Joe, fairly deep lake? No, Wabigoon's not a deep lake. I think you're going to find when we talk to these anglers, they're probably going to be getting these fish anywhere from 8 to 18 feet depths. I would be surprised if anything comes deeper than 18 roughly feet. And in the spring, you can get them in 2 and 3 feet of water out here. It's a muddy lake. It's got a little bit of a tinge to the Wabigoon system, but the back lakes are clear lakes. And there's a lot of different color walleyes come out of there. They're a little darker. The Wabigoon fish are a little bit lighter in color, and you really know the difference. The teams embarked early this morning, and they are now coming in as they are going through pretty fast and furious. And one of those teams that's close to the top, we'll see who they are. We're going to go to Janice right now to take a look in at some of our anglers.
Thanks, guys. Well, I have Lauren Butts here, your Team 16. You're fishing with your dad, John Butts, the chair. How was your day today?
It was pretty good. We caught lots of fish. It was hard to get overs, but we did it.
Now, you're fishing with your dad for Father's Day. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I've done it for the past few years, and it's nice to be able to spend the day with him since he's gone a lot of the time, so it's nice to have that one day.
Do you think there's more pressure on you because your dad's the chair this year?
Yeah. I always feel the pressure fishing with him, but this year especially, but it's always fun, so.
And you obviously love fishing, and you know the lake, so what are you going to do tomorrow to get some overs?
Oh gosh, we're probably just gonna go back to where we were today. We were catching them, so we're gonna hope for the best and see what happens.
Okay, well, I hope you find them tomorrow.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Mike and Joe.
All right, thanks a lot, Janice, and congratulations to the Butts team. And we talked about those overs. Again, you are allowed 2 fish over the allowable weights, and Lauren talked about just the Father's Day aspect, and I think that's the neat part of this tournament, and something that gives a different dynamic to it than other tournaments, and it's always on Father's Day, and that's why we see so many family teams come out.
There are a lot of family teams. Lauren and John have fished together the past few years, and they've really had a good time together. I know that. I must correct you, though, it's not always Father's Day weekend, just to put that out there, because we have a tournament roughly the same time as Sioux Lookout does. The Walleye Masters is always the 3rd weekend in June, just to clarify that. And we're really happy with the Father's Day weekend this year. Last year it wasn't, but this year it is. And it's pretty exciting, and it's going to be exciting now because my son-in-law, Lonnie Lundmark's just coming in with his bag. But it's interesting to talk to John and hear Lauren talk there. I've known that little girl since she was born, and she's turned into quite the young lady and a really good fisherman, fisher person, to be politically correct here. And she's done well. It's very exciting to see her out there. I was able to fish and have fished for the past 10 or 15 years with my daughter Carissa. This year she's fishing with her husband Lonnie, so I'm taking a break this year and kind of enjoying my day here with you, Mike.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Joe, providing our expertise. And let's go inside the Dryden Memorial Arena and our host, Al Peranto.
Boat 39 is next with 4 from Eagle River, Leonard Sky, and from Wagon, Roddy Brown. They've got 4 fish today. .08. Boat number 28 is next. From right here in Dryden, Carissa and Lonnie Lundmark. Nice basket, 13.70 for Lonnie and Carissa. Boat number 22 is next with 5. Boat 22 is a team of Tony Shirley and Marla Murphy from Winnipeg, sponsored by Ranger Boats, Mercury Shimano, FinTech, and Max Lures. .84 for day number 1, 10.84. Boat 32 is next with 5
As
fish.
a look inside, there's the young Cortons girl, as they are always at the top. And boy, what a trooper that Al Peranto is. He's got a horrible case of laryngitis today.
He's not feeling good at all.
No, but he is a trooper. He's battling it out, as he is the voice of the Dryden Walleye Masters throughout the years. And hats off to Al, who's really fighting through this one today. So
we just need him feeling good for tomorrow for the big show, because he does a great job. He gets the crowd just wound right up, and it's a lot of fun. Interesting to see how the Cortons team did.
our biggest fish today is 10.41, but we've been just alerted that a huge one is on the way.
We're going to have a look at this one. If it's, I'm not sure who the team is yet, but let's have a look in there. Okay.
Here's a couple of hogs.
Have a look at these. Oh!
That's what it's all about, folks. Beautiful catch.
Those weights are going to be up there.
And
we'll see what happens.
Do have a new leader, so Brad Smith and Renee Below have been bumped from the top with those two big fish. And man, we've said it time after time, Joe, we're seeing some monsters out there right now.
Yeah, there's some big fish, and those two prove it. You got to like that.
As the weigh-ins continue here at the Dryden Memorial Arena at the Walleye Masters here.
772 for Jeff and Riley. Boat 75 is coming up next.
Boat 75. They've got a nice looking basket there too. It's a number of Dryden teams coming in here all in a row, so it's going to be nice to see how they make out.
And of course, very familiar with this lake, the Dryden teams. You saw the Cortons a couple of teams ago. As the Cortons family continues to be an integral part of this tournament. Just waiting for the updated standings, and then we will keep you up to date with our new leader. You're on day number 1 of the Dryden Walleye Masters here at the Memorial Arena, as it's a traffic jam outside, but inside it's looking good, and the fish are looking good. As
the fish are looking really healthy, and I think this cool water and cooler air has made a big difference on those fish. So it's pretty interesting to see them and see them flopping in there, and that's all exciting. It's all exciting. It's all part of the big show.
As you see the outside look now, as teams will come right off the lake, they'll put their fish there, get them transported inside to the arena.
Yeah. That's the bump guy there. And he hands it off back to the angler, and the angler brings him into the arena. They never let the fish go out of the eyesight of the angler, because that way they know their fish are their fish and not somebody. There's no hanky-panky, and they just make sure it's all handled professionally.
And your new leaders are Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holz at 18.32 pounds, Joe. That's just ahead of the Smith team at 18.21. So again, we are seeing a lot of parity here today. We have some big fish at the top. So your new leaders is Ryan and Alex. Congratulations to them. And we're seeing some big fish, and we've got Janice with one of the anglers near the top. Janice, take it away.
Hi, thanks guys. I'm here with Lonnie Lundmark. You're fishing with your wife Krissa today. How was your day?
Pretty good. She got a big one this morning, around 25 or so, and then actually most of the day we were catching fish, so it was good. Mark them and catch them, so it was good. Ended up with 13.7 pounds, so see what happens, see where that puts us.
That's a pretty good first day.
Yeah, not bad.
Now, what was the weather like out there? Because it's changed here.
It was really good. It was cloudy, so it wasn't too hot, and it just the last little while it's got hot, so it was a nice day for fishing with the wife.
Oh, yeah, well, good. Good for you for fishing with your wife, too, and it's nice that she brought in a big one.
Yeah, that's right. It's always good.
Now, let's take a look back at other tournaments.
On day one, we had a pretty good bag. We were coming in late in the day. We stopped at one of our last spots and took a few casts. My partner, Darcy Matani, snagged the fish, lost it. We kind of giggled, laughed, made one more pass by there, and we managed to snag a 8-pounder, which we brought in, which I believe put us in first by about 2.5 pounds. It was tough because we threw back about a 3-pounder when we got that 8-pounder. So you catch a big fish, you have to throw one back. With that 8-pounder, it's huge, especially getting it right at the end of the day like that, and getting in, seeing you have a 2.5-pound lead going into day two is always a little easier to survive. We knew it was going to be tough, but first thing in the morning, we knew that we had to get our fish right away. The weather was changing. We knew the sun was going to come out and things were getting calm, so we fished our butts off for the first couple hours, and we had really good fish other than we didn't have our overs, and we had 5 really good slots. We thought, now we just got to go find big fish, and we went looking and managed to find one. We didn't have a great bag on day 2, which we were a little worried about, but talking with other teams, felt fairly good with a 2.5-pound lead, so it was what it was. And we took the boat back to the garage and we wanted to listen to it on the radio because we were getting feedback from people that were at the arena and a couple more boats to weigh in. So they kind of gave us a heads up what was going on, and then to hear the unofficial results on the radio was pretty cool. The old trophy was pretty cool. The old wooden carving was pretty neat, and I think that's kind of when you realize what was going on. With the caliber of fishermen, it's crazy to finally hit the top, I guess. So yeah, it was pretty neat.
I'm here with, I guess, the man of the hour right now. You just brought in 2 monster fish, Alex Finlayson. Yeah. When did you catch the big ones?
Well, we had a tough time this morning, and we ended up moved it to another spot around 12 o'clock, and we hooked onto a 28-incher there. And so we figured we'll start working our way back, and we stopped at a spot. We didn't try when we were pre-fishing, and popped another 28-incher there. So,
were you guys doing the happy dance?
Oh yeah, we were cheering like a bunch of schoolgirls there.
Yeah. Now, how does it work? Are you going to go back to the same places tomorrow to catch another big one like that, or are you going to change it up?
I think we're going to stick to the same pattern, just kind of start where we started and kind of move the way we moved today, and see if it works out again tomorrow. So.
Okay, well, I hope it works out for you tomorrow.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Mike and Joe.
All right, thanks a lot, Janice. And not only are they near the top, they're actually in the lead right now. So a very good day, number 1 for that team there.
Oh, it's a huge weight. That's a good weight. 2 days, 18 pounds. You know that team's going to be up there. There's no doubt about it. So it makes it feel good when you see those weights coming in. It makes the tournament organizers feel good. It tells the other anglers, hey, if they can do it, we can do it.
Exactly,
so
that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about for sure.
And looking very confident, Alex was there.
He was, yeah. They know they got a good bag, and they know they can go back probably to that spot again tomorrow at some point. And that has a lot to do with it, too. The time of the day that you go to an area. He said they hadn't pre-fished that, so it was the luck of the draw. Just getting out there and finding the fish and finding a new spot, trying it, and depending on the wind again, it paid off for them. And hopefully the same thing will happen tomorrow. Anyhow, that's what they're hoping for, and I think the rest of the teams are hoping for it is that they get those 228s, or at least one of them.
So a slow start doesn't result in a poor day of fishing for the leaders. As they have come in, other teams are coming in as we are here in the beautiful city of Dryden. And taking a look at Dryden, we speak to Nicole Gale, Dryden's tourism director.
We're here at Johnston Park, and I'm here with Nicole Gale. Now, you're with Tourism Dryden.
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, now what we want to talk about is how great is the city of Dryden?
Well, I think it's the best little town in northwestern Ontario. I might be a little biased on that, but it's great. We have lots of things to see and do here while people are visiting or coming here for a great fishing, obviously, such as this event this weekend with the Shaw Walleye Masters. And behind us, there's lots of things to see and do. We're here at the Artist Museum. There's a suspension bridge, a little walkway that leads from here at Johnston Park, and we can. There's Probably about 23 kilometers of hiking trails that you can do through the city and also in a little bit more of the rural area. The Lower Hall Marsh is part of the trail system as well, so you can do some bird watching and kind of see some of the wildlife locally close by. And then if you're into watching some of the local sports activities, there's the ball diamonds that you can go and take in a tournament on the weekend. And also the soccer pitches, and there's always soccer and someone throwing up a game, and yeah, there's lots of things to see and do.
So when it comes to water sports, is there canoeing? Because you always hear about canoeing with Northwestern Ontario. Can you go canoeing?
Yeah, so one of the neat things for the area here, we've just wrapping up a Path of the Paddle committee and organizing a water route map and signage and everything. So there's a couple launch points at our Sandy Beach and also at the end of Van Horn at Government Dock. And so people can come on out and launch into the lake and paddle around. And there's actually a weekly organization committee that gets together, and they get out on the lake every Wednesday evening. And also the yacht club gets out and sails. Yeah, it's awesome.
Lots. Yeah. Just quickly, what does having the Dryden Walleye Masters here in Dryden, what does it mean for tourism in the community?
Oh, it's awesome for tourism. I mean, it brings lots of visitors and returning visitors to the community. Obviously, they come and they bring their gear and they bring families, they bring friends. They come back often for vacations. It's awesome that the restaurants swell up, the hotels fill up. All that's great.
So there's no bad part of it.
No.
Okay.
No, I think maybe the only bad part is that it might take you an extra minute maybe to get from point A to point B. That's about all.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for talking with us today. Okay. Let's go back inside to our hosts.
Yes, that cute. As you take a look at some more photos here, again, we encourage you to send us your photos. There's our information. Go on Twitter, #HookedOnShaw. Also email hookedonshaw@shaw.ca. We encourage you to take some pics of the fish that you catch. Look down at the Canadian Tire Kids and Cops, Joe.
That's got a good picture there with all those kids. There's a nice fish. There's the one I was talking about.
Beautiful catch there.
Nice one, Lauren.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not a good picture.
Yeah, speaking of not nice. As Joe Barrett and I, happy to be with you here today. As we see the weigh-ins, we see the boats outside, and what's turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day here at the city of Dryden. And it's so much easier to enjoy this city when the weather is perfect like it is today. There's our leader, Alex Finlayson. As we'll take a look at the standings, Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holtz, team number 92, with 18.32 pounds. They bumped out Brad Smith and Renee Below, who are now second at 18.21. Then it's very crowded. Chris Bladen and Arnie Jansen have come in third place at 14.45. Jeff Park and Matt Park in fourth, just behind 14.43. Dean McDonald and Jessa McDonald, fifth place at 14.25, sorry. And then Jeremy Kennedy and Darren Kennedy and Brandon Cam and Cliff Sutherland also over 14 pounds, as it is very crowded at the top of the standings here at the Dryden Memorial Arena, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple days. There's no doubt about it.
Another nice fish there. As we're back in the Dryden Memorial Arena, getting the weigh-ins. And we will be back with more coverage of the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing.
Discount Carpet offers flooring solutions for every kind of home or business with carpeting, hardwood, and more. Dryden Discount Carpet is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming.
Wood Lake Marine and Dingwall Ford carry the largest inventory of Alumacraft boats in Canada. With convenient locations in Kenora and Dryden, Wood Lake Marine and Dingwall Ford are proud sponsors of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. With a wide variety of Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC vehicles and 12 service bays to keep you on the road, Dryden GM is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. Online at drydengm.ca. Best Western Plus Dryden Hotel and Conference Center would like to welcome all out-of-town anglers to the Dryden Walleye Masters. Best Western Plus Dryden Hotel and Conference Center is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming.
And welcome back to Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing, and a big thank you to all of our sponsors here, allowing us to be with you the next 2 days, including Dingwall Ford, Best Western Dryden, Dryden Discount Carpets, and Dryden GM. So many sponsors make this broadcast possible, but with the tournament itself, so many sponsors make this tournament a reality.
Oh, if you don't have the sponsors for this event, it's just not going to be what it is. And they've came on board this year as a great boat company. Alumacraft come on board this year, Kingfisher. We still have Minn Kota, Mercury. All of those big sponsors pay great money to support this event and support it in a big way. So have a look. We got a couple boats down here in the arena this weekend. When you come down tomorrow, have a look at them. And they're sitting in there. I know that Dingwall Ford are selling Alumacraft and Mercury boats up there now. So stop out there and have a look. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. But we're just looking over behind us, the shoulder here a little bit, at all the boats that are still out there. You can see them. So there's a number of them out there yet that still need to weigh in. And but they're moving fairly quickly, so hopefully we'll get this through and have an update with the different leaders shortly.
Yes, the boats came in at 3 o'clock. You see how crowded it is out there on crystal clear Wabagoon Lake. And we heard from Alex. I want to go back this, so you didn't have a chance to touch on it last time. Alex talked about Finlayson, the leader of the tournament so far, how it was very frustrating early. They weren't catching a lot of fish. How tough is it, Joe, to keep an even plate there and not get frustrated?
You can't push the panic button out there. I mean, these are fish, and they're very finicky. Walleye are one of the most finicky fish going, and you've just got to be patient. Take your time, do what you've been doing, what you did pre-fishing, and work your area. And if it doesn't work, move on to another spot and possibly come back to that spot after. It's important not to give up. You just can't give up. It's just way too much time and money into it. And hit another spot if that doesn't work. Just keep moving.
And that is the key, trying to just stay focused for the entire time and not get frustrated and not kind of pull the pin early, because you just don't want to panic, or else you could be out of that $25,000, or sorry, that $25,000 cash and prizes for number one.
Yeah, exactly. You can't push the panic button. Just take it easy and be patient. I mean, it's an easy thing to say, but you just have to be patient out there and do your thing, and hopefully it'll pay off.
We heard from Nicole Gale earlier about all the things going on in Dryden. 12 months a year. It is a very big weekend here in the city of Dryden, not only with the Dryden Walleye Masters here at the Memorial Arena, but a special day tomorrow, and that is Dryden National Aboriginal Day that is being celebrated here in the city of Dryden.
I'm here at Cooper Park, and I'm here with Jen and Lori from the Dryden Native Friendship Center, and we want to talk about National Aboriginal Day. Now, first, Jen, what is National Aboriginal Day?
National Aboriginal Day is a community event. We're getting together to celebrate the Aboriginal culture. Everyone comes together on Sunday, June 21st, here at Cooper's Park from 12 to 3:30.
And National Aboriginal Day takes place every year the same day?
Yes, it's actually a national event, not only in Dryden, but all local communities will be celebrating on the same day.
Okay, now Jen, you said we are here at Cooper Park. Lori, what are some of the events and activities that are taking place here?
We have quite a few children's games, oversized board games. It'll be just a great time for the kids. We have lots of crafts, and we do have an activity center set up for seniors as well.
Okay, now what about food? Is there going to be food down here, or is it just, there's going to be food?
Yes, there's going to be, actually, we're going to have stew and bannock, and that is a free service to all of the community to come and enjoy some stew and bannock. We also have the Youth Council. They're going to be selling hot dogs, hamburgers, freezies, and other products like that. So.
Okay. Now, when people come down, what should they bring with them, or what shouldn't they bring, I guess?
They should bring their lawn chairs. We have some picnic tables, and obviously we're going to have some traditional activities and entertainment as well. But we're asking everyone, whatever you feel comfortable in, bring a picnic blanket or obviously your lawn chairs too.
Okay, now this is taking place the same time as the Dryden Walleye Masters. It's on Sunday. The boat parade is happening. What we want is to invite people down here to Cooper's Park to check out some of the activities, because it is for everyone, right?
Yes, it is for everyone. So hopefully everybody can come down and just enjoy the day, and hopefully cross your fingers it doesn't rain. So
yes. Now, if it's raining, it is rain or shine, I'm assuming?
Yes, rain or shine, it'll still go on. So.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for meeting me here. So it's National Aboriginal Day here at Cooper's Park on Sunday, June 21st. Let's go back to our hosts.
All right, thank you very much, Janice, and big day again tomorrow, so it's kind of a double hitter. You can go watch and take part in the festivities at Cooper Park, then come here to the Memorial Arena.
Absolutely, we hope they do.
All right, so Janice is right back at it. She's got a special guest.
Our special guest is Apollo. Apollo is a puppy that's up for adoption at Second Chance Pet Network. I'm here with Bev Whitaker. Bev, tell us about Apollo.
Apollo's about 3.5 months old. He's from the north. A lot of our puppies come from the north, from reserves, and they're kind of rescued from what could be a rough life for them. And he had a rough start with his brother, having him and his brother had parvo, and he's recovered. His brother went to the Rainbow Bridge already, but he's looking for his forever home because his foster sister got adopted this morning.
So and he's a little lonely.
He's a little bit lonely. We have 2 corgis, but they're old. They're 12 and 13, and they don't play with him like a puppy does. So
right. So if someone's watching this and they want to adopt Apollo, what do they have to do?
They go down to see Anne at FFF Pet Supply, or else they can go down to the shelter on Wilson Road. It's the Second Chance has a Facebook site and a website. So Second Chance Pet Network.
I'm sure if they Google it, they can find it
Yes,
too, right?
if you Google it, yeah.
Right. Well, I think Apollo is selling. He's selling himself. He's looking right at the camera, saying, "Adopt me."
And he is a fine fellow. He's quiet. He's affectionate. He's very wants to be with his family.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for stopping and talking with us.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Joe and Mike.
Nothing like the dog days of summer, eh, Joe?
Dog days of June, anyhow. Yeah. That's for sure. Oh, that's a nice puppy.
She's just quite comfy. He's just going to sit there.
Yeah, he's quite
Janice
happy.
has got a new friend. Friend for life here.
I think Janice should take him home and adopt him.
Yeah, I think.
She's looking at it.
She's looking. We'll work on her.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're still looking at a bunch of boats out there. They're still lined up, so we've got a ways to go yet. I'm thinking there's probably 40, 45 boats out there yet, so we'll keep moving through it. Got some people inside enjoying the show in there, and we've been seeing a few of the baskets come in here on our monitor, and they look pretty good. There looks like some good weights coming in, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens at the end of the day. I think there's going to be a bunch of anglers in that 13, 14 pound range, and that's anybody's game tomorrow. Then anybody can catch one big one like that 10 pounder earlier, and look out.
And that is what it's all about right now. It's very crowded at the top. Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holtz are in first place with 18.32 pounds, 5 fish caught. Brad Smith and Renee Below, who pretty much had the lead throughout, second place, 18.21. Christopher Land and Bob Land now in number 3 at 14.65 pounds. Chris Bladen and Arnie Jansen in fourth place with 14.45 pounds. Jeff Park and Matt Park in fifth spot at 14.43. And then you have 4 other teams over 14 pounds. And the defending champions, Scott Dingwall and Jay Samso, are currently in 18th place at 12.16. Last year on day number 1, they caught 15.9 before a big second day. So you really can't even count out the defending champions.
No, you can't count anybody that's 12, 13 pounds. You can't count them out because it's big time, just big time. Those guys know how to fish, so they'll do it.
I don't think we've seen this much parity in a long time here at this tournament.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice looking fish. Absolutely, and that's what it's all about.
Again, a big thank you to our sponsors, Dingwall Ford, Remmer Roofing, Best Western Dryden, Dryden GM, and Dryden Discount Carpets, allowing Joe and I to be here with you and here at the Dryden Memorial Arena, as, again, lots of boats still waiting to come in and get their weights secured, as there you see outside, and what has turned out to be an absolute beautiful day. The big fish so far still belongs to Eric Williams and Peter Erickson at 10.41 pounds. The Brontos coming in with a nice big fish at just over 7 pounds. Speaking of National Aboriginal Day, the Brontos are always there pretty much in the hunt of things.
Yeah, they are for sure. The Brontos have always been involved in this tournament, and it's always been good for them, and it's good for the community. They're great anglers. They put a lot of work into fishing out there, so we really hope that the folks that are at the Aboriginal Days come over here tomorrow and join us. Have a look. Have a look. Oh my, look at that one.
Speaking of have a look,
wow,
two beauties.
There's a big walleye. Nice.
I'm sure that'll be good enough to hopefully crack top 5 with the top fish. And let's see where it puts them in the standings.
Wow, that was 2 big fish.
And
that's
earlier,
too big.
We saw Ryan and Alex have 2 big ones. That put them in first place. So it could be very interesting here. We could have some more movement on top of the leaderboard as we continue to look inside with Al Peranto.
See what these guys get.
There you go, 5 fish, 7.71 pounds there. As taking a look outside, some nice looking fish coming in, so we're going to keep an eye on if there's any movement here inside the Dryden Memorial Arena. We were talking earlier about the Prontos. Michael and Alfred says last year they looked to be really good. They actually were 3rd place heading into day number 2 after catching 17.38 pounds of fish, but on day number 2 they really struggled with 7.05. They ended up finishing in 11th place. So with the 7 pounder today, they're again close to the top.
Yeah, that's the thing. It can change so quickly. You can be in the top 5 day 1, and then if those fish aren't there day 2, then you're in trouble. Like you will fall, and that's how other teams come back up and have a good shot at winning this. So you really can't count anybody out. It's just the way it goes. You just gotta keep the faith and keep doing what you're doing and enjoy it out there. It's tough, but I know they can do it, and I know the Prontos will put out a good show tomorrow as well. They've been in the top 5 or 10 the last few years, so they've done a great job. They're good anglers.
As we continue to look inside the Dryden Memorial Arena, nice
bag there.
Nice bag there indeed. As again, our leaders are Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holes. They've weighed in about a half hour ago with 18.32 pounds of fish. Still, several teams still have to come in, as it's all about fishing here today. But part of the great thing of the Dryden area is everything we have to offer with the outdoors, not only fishing, but hunting. And that brings us to the real deal with Mark McNay.
I'm here with someone that a lot of Dryden know. This is Mark McNay. Mark, you're a little bit of a celebrity here in Dryden.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, it came about real quick. It's been pretty exciting, that's for sure.
Now, you were hosting and producing a show called The Real Deal. You want to tell our viewers a little bit about that?
I'd love to. The Real Deal is a reality. We're a real deal hunting team. And when I say that, I mean everything that we do is for real. Nothing is faked. Nothing is acted out. Everything's shot in real time, and hence the name The Real Deal.
Okay, so and it's all about hunting. You want to get into fishing later, but right now it's mainly about hunting?
It's mostly about hunting, 90% hunting right now, but like you said, we are going to start getting into the fishing a little more. And we really promote Northwestern Ontario with our show. We did 75 to 80% of our filming was done right here in Northwestern Ontario.
Nice. Now you live in Dryden, and you've been here for quite a while, and you love living here.
I love living here. I tried to move away. I used to work in the mill, and when I lost my job there, I tried to move away, and I just got drawn right back to Dryden. I love Dryden, love Northwestern Ontario. When you're into hunting and fishing, how could you not love Northwestern Ontario?
So when it comes to hunting, where is your favorite place to hunt?
I can't tell you that. That's my secret. You know what? It's amazing because talking about living in a small town, some of my favorite hunting places are only 20 and 25 minutes away from where I live. So I can literally get off work at 4 o'clock, be in a tree hunting by 5.
Now, is that your favorite thing about living in Dryden in Northwestern Ontario?
Absolutely. And the people. You can't beat the people. I mean, we're Canadian, we're friendly. Northwestern Ontario is super friendly. So yeah, the people and the hunting for sure.
Okay, now coming back just to your show, The Real Deal, where can people watch it?
The Real Deal is going to be airing on Wild TV starting in about a week. We're going to air for a solid 6 months. It's going to be 104 airings. Each episode is going to air 4 times a week, so you're going to get to see a little bit of the team, that's for sure. And it's not just me. I do have a team of people with me, so.
And where else are you going to see actual real hunting, right?
That's right, everything. And like I said, nothing's acted, nothing's faked. So what you see, if you see a close-up of one of us pulling the trigger, that's actually another camera over the shoulder pointed at the hunter. So everything was done in real time.
Okay, well, Mark, thank you so much for meeting us today.
I thank you very much for doing this.
Okay, and everyone, we're going to go back inside to our host.
All right, thank you very much, Janice. As Real Deal with Mark McNay, and a special screening party will actually be held next Saturday at the Dryden Center. So we'll get a sneak peek of his first show. Mark McNay, a big success here in the Dryden area.
Oh, he's very popular. Great hunter, too. I wish I was half as good as he was.
They're hunting for fish right now as you take a look on the docks.
And we have a guest with us today, and she's here from Manitoba. And we've asked Michelle Trudeau, welcome, Mike Ebling.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's great having you here. So how was your trip so far into Dryden and fishing the mighty Wagon Lake?
It's been interesting, to say the least. It's my very first time fishing here in Dryden, so lots to learn, and what a huge, beautiful body of water. Yeah, it's been great. We've caught so many fish, too, so it's been a lot of fun.
You had a good day, did you?
Today could have been better.
Yeah.
Could have been yesterday would have been better.
I
It was a
heard
tournament
that.
day yesterday, but no, it was all good.
Good.
Yeah.
As a newcomer here, what were your expectations? What were you expecting? What did you do?
I was expecting lots of fish and big fish because the Lake Wabagoon is very popular for their walleye fishing. So, and it definitely delivered. So, yeah.
Change it up for tomorrow?
I think we're going to do the same thing. We were on the right spot. We saw the fish get caught. They weren't landed in our boat. So we're hoping tomorrow they'll choose us.
And the Dryden Walleye Masters is part of the CWT. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know you're big and one of the directors of that.
Yes, absolutely. The Central Walleye Trail started last year, so it's had one full complete season under its belt so far. In 2015, we have 7 qualifying tournaments that are involved in the Central Walleye Trail, Dryden being one of them. And everybody that registers and signs up to be a member of the CWT and they fish at least 2 of the qualifying tournaments, they accumulate points, and at the end of the season we have over $50,000 worth of prizes and cash and to hand out to the trail members.
Excellent, excellent.
It's a really fun time, and a lot of people are competing against each other, and it's motivating people to come out to places like Dryden and Lac du Bonny, and we had an event in Saskatchewan for the first time this year. So it's really motivating people to fish more tournaments. There's 1-day tournaments and 2-day tournaments, and I think our biggest goal is to get newcomers into tournament fishing, and it's working. So.
That's important. Getting the new anglers out there, and it's very important. That's
it
for
is.
Sure.
It's so much fun, and everybody should at least give it a shot, and get the bug, and then we're all hooked for life.
We're hooked for life. Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank
we
you very much,
appreciate you
Michelle.
taking the time to come and have a little chat with us, and good luck tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. We'll need it, I think.
Oh, you'll be just fine. Say hi to Andrew.
CWT, a great new event, the Central Walleye Trail, and I think that's a neat event, Joe.
Yeah, it is. And I forgot to ask Michelle, but I'd like to know how many boats are here this weekend that came specifically for the Central Walleye Trail, just to find out how many. They would all be new teams that were coming in for that as part of that competition. Be a lot of fun.
And we have seen a lot of teams from out of town. It's a nice mix with the local anglers that we have here as the Central Walleye Trail. Look it up and take part. If not this year, it's something to think about for next year, as really promoting angling in this great country of ours.
Yeah, and if you go on centralwalleyetrail.com, you'll see all the information and the rules that pertain to that, and how you register and how you get involved in that. I'd encourage anybody that's fishing this tournament, and there's one in Kenora. I know the Manaki tournament moved from Manaki. It's now in Kenora. So there's a number of tournaments going around, and this one will be one of the qualifiers for sure.
A new team in the hunt now here as we take a look at the updated standings. Chris Oakes and Robert Melanson are now in third place at 17.78 pounds. Again, your leaders have 18.32. So 3 teams over 17 pounds as it continues to get very crowded in the top. And really, from 1 to 50, it's anybody's game right now.
It's pretty interesting, and I know Chris very well. Chris and Robert are from Red Lake, from the Red Lake Bombertown area. They've been around for a while, so they can put 2 good days together, and if they're sitting at 17.78 right now, they're going to be in great shape.
As we take a look right back inside here at the Dryden Memorial Arena for the Dryden Walleye Masters, and we've spent a lot of time talking about this great city of ours here. We've talked about tourism, we've talked about some of the events going on, and right now we talk to Dryden Mayor Craig Nuttall.
I'm here with Mayor Craig Nuttall. How are you today, Mr. Mayor?
I'm always good. Always.
Now, this weekend is the Dryden Walleye Masters. It's quite a weekend for the town of Dryden.
Well, it is, because we get visitors all over the area here from the United States as well as Ontario and Manitoba. This is a great event and well looked after. I think it's probably the biggest event in Ontario.
Well, and we've been here before, and you get a lot of people from the community that are involved, and that's a huge part of a community this size. And
yes, it is. Mostly, they're all volunteers, but we're so happy to have Shaw down here because it being televised means a lot to us, because people can see what Dryden's like and see the fishing here. Fishing's fantastic.
And this tournament brings in a lot of people from the U.S. as well, so they're coming in and they get to experience Dryden.
And they come back. That's the big thing, because this is a good tourism lure, shall we say. And we just love to have Americans here as well as Manitoba and Ontario people. And some local people do patronize here, and sometimes the local people do win, but we hope this year maybe somebody else wins.
Okay.
But don't say I told you that.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ray, you've lived here a very long time. What's your favorite thing about living in Dryden?
The people. The people are just great here because they're friendly. Everybody gets along, we hope. And they just love this Walleye Masters, and Dryden's really open for business.
Well, good. Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for meeting me today, and enjoy the Walleye Masters this weekend.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go back to our hosts.
All right, thank you very much, Janice, with Mayor Craig Nuttall, starting his second term as mayor of the city of Dryden. Never at a loss for words.
No, Mr. Nuttall is not a loss for words. Well said, Mayor.
All right, as we are proud to be here on Dryden Shaw here as across northwestern Ontario, and we're joined now by John Butts, not only one of our local anglers, but also the organizer, one of the organizers of this year's Dryden Walleye Masters. John, thanks a lot for joining us.
Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
First of all, let's talk about the task at hand, and that was the angling today and how things went.
Well, I think the angling today for myself was tougher than actually organizing the event or being part of it. But in the end, we did pretty good. Got some decent fish. I had one real key spot that did go, but the rest didn't. But we worked hard, got a nice bag, and in it for tomorrow.
And we talked to your daughter earlier on, Lauren Butts, and she mentioned how special it was to fish with you here on Father's Day weekend. Just get your thoughts on that.
She probably wasn't saying that at 9:15 this morning. We had a little issue in the boat with some fish, but no, it's special fishing with your child, whether it's my son or my daughter, and we had a really good day and a lot of fun.
I think the funny part was she said, I don't get to spend a lot of time with my dad. He's away so much, and she really enjoyed today. John, tell us about the organizing committee and how you got involved in it, and what do you think of it?
Well, I was involved years ago with the committee several times, and then this time, Joe, you retired, and they were looking for someone to step up and be chair or co-chair. So I decided, you know, why not? Because with the new sponsorship with the Lumacraft and Kingfisher, who I represent and work for, I figured it'd be a good time just to, get involved and help them make it a great event.
That was one of the bigger moves this year, that you moved from the Passboat sponsor to Lumacraft and Kingfisher. How's that working out with those two companies getting involved now?
It's working really good. They're making a real big move into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, the market, and they're sponsoring a lot of great events. The KBI is sponsored events by Lumacraft and Kingfisher, and they're a great company, and they're stepping up, and what they're doing is they're putting more money and more prizes in the pot for all the anglers, so the anglers win.
Right. And we talked to Michelle Trudeau just a few minutes ago, and she was talking about the CWT. And do you have any idea how many new anglers we might have got this year that came in here because of that trail?
I don't know the exact numbers, but we'll find out. But it's got to be at least 15 to 20, I'm guessing, that are part of the CWT and new anglers that are here. And apparently some of them did really well today.
I've seen some of the weights come in, and they've done very well. There's some huge weights out there, and we were talking about that early. And the other question that I have is just on the anglers coming into Dryden. You talk to a lot of them. You're very popular with them. What do they say about coming here to the town of Dryden and fishing this event?
Well, they all love coming to Dryden. It's a great community, great people. The fishery is a very challenging fishery, which they appreciate, and they love fishing because it's different than any other body of water they have fished before. So they're actually learning a lot when they come here. And so far, anyone I've talked to, new or been here for a number of years, that they appreciate Dryden, they appreciate the fishing, and they appreciate the event.
Perfect. Well, thanks a lot for taking some time and coming and joining us today. Great event. Love the weather. You did a good job getting this thing straightened out.
Got lucky with that.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Sean Butts, the organizer of this year's Dryden Walleye Masters, and of course on the water as well with his daughter. We thank Sean for coming in here today. As there you see Janice and Lonnie Ludmark. As we take a look at your photos, we want you to send us your photos. There's all the info at the bottom of the screen. Twitter, hashtag at Hooked on Shaw. You can email us your picture. There's another guest of Janice's earlier on, and that's the adoption. And boy, oh boy, that's a great dog, Polo. And there's the information if you want, www.secondchancepetnetwork.ca, or just go down to the FFF Pet Supply area store. That young fella ready for adoption, looking for a home. And so many dogs looking for a home. And we encourage you to send us your pictures as we take a look right back outside. And it is now starting to wind down about, say roughly about 15 boats.
I would say about 15, Mike. Yeah, they're getting them through fairly quickly now. They had to pick up the pace in there a little bit. We don't want those guys sitting out there. The sun's out now, a beautiful blue sky up there, and we want people to get off the water. They're probably tired by this time of the day. I see Al still there, got lots of fish coming in there. He's hanging in there.
Speaking of needing a break, yeah. Al Peranto, our voice of the Dryden Walleye Masters, and that's who we're going to throw it to. Let's go inside and have Al take it away.
3.46 for day number 1.
Boat 121 with 5. From Wagon, Mike Perano and Al Perano. Bring it on over, Al. They were in earlier, 8 of 763. This will be the remaining 4. Looks like it's going to be over 14 pounds. Close to 15 for the 2. 7.31. It's going to give them a total for day 1 of 14.94. 14.94. Boat number 119 is next with 5 fish. This is Ryan Roberts and Kent Roberts from Dryden. Come on up. $11.46. $11.46 for day number 1. Far to make it to the big parade tomorrow. 14.41 pounds puts you in the top 10. 14.41. Boat number 104 is up next with 5 fish. This is Tyler Potter and Darcy Latteroot. Bring them right up, Darcy. $7.70. $7.70. Next up, boat number 116 with 5 fish from Red Lake, Ed and Jenna Goulet. Come on up, Jenna.
All right, the voice of the Dryden Walleye Masters, Al Peralto, as we're quickly winding down here with the 135 teams who are out on the water, now back dockside. As everyone going for that top prize, $25,000 cash and prizes. Joe Barron, who right now is in the running.
Well, we got a top weight of 18.32. That's Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holtz. And very close behind that, and this is within tenths, is Brad Smith and Rennie Below. Behind them, third place with 17.78 is Chris Oakes and Robert Melanson. In fourth place, a local team, Keith Keller and his son Matt Keller, 14.96. Good job. Great job, guys. And then in fifth place, Christopher Land and Bob Land, 14.65. That's the top 5 at this point. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of 14s below that, all within tenths of each other. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. That's going to be an exciting day tomorrow, that's for sure, because these anglers are going to go out there and put it all on the line tomorrow, because there's no Monday, you don't fish. So you better do it tomorrow.
Unofficially, 12 teams over 14 pounds, 21 teams over 13 pounds.
Wow.
I don't remember, Joe, honestly, it being this tight, this much of a logjam.
No, never. I've never seen it this tight at all. And I've been involved in this tournament now for some 20 years. So, and this is our 26th anniversary, I should mention, this year as well. We had our big 25 last year, had a great celebration. But this year, the 26th year, might turn out to be the biggest day, biggest tournament of the years with the poundage and the weight that's coming in. And it's going to be exciting. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow afternoon, bring your fathers and your grandfathers and your mothers and grandmothers and all your family down here to the Dryden Arena and join us, because it's going to be one special show.
It is. It's been fun. And your defending champions, Jay Sampso and Scott Dingwall, not to be ignored. They have 12.16 pounds of fish. But again, last year, they, after a so-so first day, they caught 17.51 with a full bag. So you can't count those two out.
No, you can't count them out. And Jeff and Blair Dingwall, they're in 18th place, you know, and they're sitting there with 12 pounds, so 12.82 pounds as well. So, I mean, these are anglers that have won this tournament in the past. So you can't count anybody out in this event, Mike, because they've all got a shot on it. You get one big fish, then you get two big fish, and away you go. It's gonna be an exciting day tomorrow. As you can see, some of those baskets coming in. You're not seeing a lot of small fish in this tournament this year. You're seeing some reasonably well-sized fish, which is just fantastic.
As there you see Darcy Mateni should be just coming up here, as he was the 2010 champion.
Yeah, Darcy and Lonnie were 2010. And I wonder how Darcy did. Maybe we'll see his weight here shortly.
I was talking to Darcy last night, of course, a well-known hockey player who played over in Japan. Darcy is actually just coming on stage now, but he was, there you see him, was talking yesterday as he gives us a smile about how he was excited to be in the tournament again back here in the city of Dryden.
Darcy used to fish with Lonnie. Well, he did up to last year too, and then Lonnie moved on with Chrissa. Darcy's, Darcy thinks he might need a little bit more weight here, so he doesn't look too happy.
I think I heard something over the 11-pound mark.
Well, nothing on that. There's one real nice fish in there. Very nice.
Yeah, not a bad catch there for Darcy Matani.
I want to say, too, one thing about the numbers this year. Last year's tournament, we did 125 teams. This year, they took the 125 teams again, and then they upped it an extra 10. So we actually have 135 teams in the event. Now, you'll see some numbers that are higher than that. That's because a few teams dropped out. And when a team drops out, we just leave that number unused, so they don't move up in any way. So the numbers could be up to 135, 140 type of thing, but there's still 135 active teams in the event.
Dale Engstrom just leaving the stage with his weigh-ins, as again the weighing continues. Another group here, as your big fish of the day is 10.41 pounds. That was caught by Eric Williams and Peter Erickson.
Another nice basket. Look at that big one in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of a big fish there. So the weigh-ins continue, and there you see some of the weigh-ins, and we encourage you to send us your pictures the next couple of days. There's all the information. You can tweet hashtag Hooked on Shaw. I'm just starting to get part of the Twitter world.
I'm not involved in Twitter.
Well, you'll have to learn overnight as Hooked on Shaw, and that's Mike in the truck when so many people behind the scenes making this broadcast a reality, and we want to say thank you to all the great folks at Shaw. And send us your pictures again. Email hookedonshaw@shaw.ca. We want to see photos of you down here, a big fish, you out on the water, in the crowd. We'll take anything. It's all part of catching the walleye fever here You're watching the Dryden Walleye Masters, brought to you by Remmer Roofing.
With a wide variety of Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC vehicles and 12 service bays to keep you on the road, Dryden GM is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. Online at drydengm.ca.
QSL Tackle is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming. QSL Tackle at 102 Queen Street in Dryden and online at qsltackle.ca.
Remmer Roofing, Northwestern Ontario's only full-time professional local roofing company with offices in Kenora and Dryden, is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters. Online at remmerroofing.com.
Dryden Discount Carpet offers flooring solutions for every kind of home or business with carpeting, hardwood, and more. Dryden Discount Carpet is a proud sponsor of the Dryden Walleye Masters and community programming.
A look on the lake as about 5 more boats are at the docks. We are wrapping up here. The day number 1 of the Dryden Walleye Masters. As what a day 1 it has been, Joe Barron, as we've seen some big weights out there, and as we've mentioned time after time, it's anybody's game.
It's anybody's game, Mike. You're absolutely right. And I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow, because I think you're going to see a lot of fish, a lot of big fish, and this place is going to be rocking. So if you're in Dryden, get down here and enjoy the show.
And right now we want to send it over to Janice Gummison with an update.
Thanks, guys. Like you said, it has been a great first day of fishing with lots of big weights being brought in. But as we know, anything can happen on day 2, and I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for the boat parade. That's always something that everyone looks forward to. So make sure you watch tomorrow. I will be back here talking to the fishermen as they come off the lake, and we're looking forward to that. Back to you, Joe and Mike.
Thank you very much, Janice, as our star reporter there on the side. And
she does such a good job.
Oh, no kidding. She should be here.
She should be
here. Not the 2 of us.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see her ugly mugs. But thanks a lot, Janice. As we go inside again, that's what it's all about, folks. That's the top prize. The big trophy there, the Dryden Walleye Masters. That's what everyone is looking for. Joe, that's something that's eluded you so far.
Yeah, second's the best I've got. I've never got my name on this one yet, but maybe someday yet. But that's what it's all about. And the smaller ones that were underneath there, they each up to top 10 each get one of the small glass ones. So it's a nice show. It's a very nice show. And that boat parade tomorrow, like I say, come on down. There's going to be some spectacular rigs coming into the arena, and it'll give you a chance to see the boats and see the anglers and see the Kids Cops Canadian Tire winners. They're going to be there as well, and I think it's just going to be one great event.
Alex Finlayson and Ryan Holtz, your unofficial day 1 leaders, 18.32 pounds. But again, it is a log jam at the top. Anyone in the top 50 has a chance to walk away with $25,000 cash and prizes. There's money for the top 30 teams. But more importantly, it's getting your name on that trophy.
That's what it's all about, my friend.
All right, that is day number 1 in the books here at the Dryden Walleye Masters. Big thank you to all of our sponsors. As a big thank you as well to the great folks here at Shaw behind the scenes. For Joe Barron, I'm Mike Ebling. Thanks for watching day number 1 of the Dryden Walleye Masters.